The text adventure medium is one that fell out of favour a long time ago. There were multiple standalone adventures that came out during the Spectrum's life, but there were also some great adaptations of classic novels such as The Hobbit, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and, of course, The Neverending Story. Truth be told, my attention span does not combine well with the slow, methodical pace of a text adventure game. They are precise, intimate, slow, and not particularly my cup of tea at all. With all of that said, it would be entirely unfair for me to review them, and my short time revisiting The Neverending Story definitely attested to that. There is something I can do with the material though. Instead of creating a review of The Neverending Story, what if I retold the classic tale through the medium of the game itself? What if I were to take my journey into the game's world and create a new version of the story? Let the game decide how the story goes and then turn it into something new. Well, spoiler alert, that's what I did. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Neverending Story, a ZX Spectrum retelling. Bastian had locked himself away in the school attic, tucked up safely with his ZX Spectrum and a copy of The Neverending Story. The man at W.H. Smith had told him that it was a magical journey that would be unlike any other game he'd ever played, and Bastian was nothing if not gullible. He loaded the game and was immediately taken aback by the hand-drawn artwork which flooded the screen in front of him, clearly drawn by some sort of incredible artist who knew exactly what he was doing. This looked nothing like he'd ever seen before on a ZX Spectrum, and, in his heart of hearts, he knew he had found something special. The menu screen faded away, and the game began. Bastian began to read. Chiron the physician explains to the gathered peoples of Fantasia their need for a great hero to save them from the nothing which is destroying their land. Atreyu stands in a clearing in the middle of the great forest. There is a campfire burning brightly in the centre of the clearing, and a small forest track leads off to the northeast. Rockbiter is here. Rockbiter tells you that he is making his way to the ivory tower to tell the Empress about the nothing, and then scurries off into the forest. Bastian attempts to speak directly to Atreyu. He types NE, which Atreyu understands to mean northeast. He marches through the forest until the game describes the next scene. You are deep in the forest. A small track runs southwest, and to the east the forest appears to thin out. Rockbiter is here. Teeny Weeny is here. Teeny Weeny is in a big panic because his land has already been almost totally consumed by the nothing, and he and Rockbiter disappear into the forest without waiting for you. Well, that's a bit rude, thought Bastian. He proceeds to communicate with Atreyu once more, typing E into the keyboard. Atreyu dutifully marches forward, attempting to meet up with his two new compadres. Bastian reads the flavour text. Atreyu stands at the base of the ivory tower. There are pathways heading off in all directions into the great forest, but there doesn't appear to be any way in. Rockbiter is here. Teeny Weeny is here. Nighthawk is here. You arrive just in time to catch a glimpse of Nighthawk flying on his bat before all three of the messengers disappear into the base of the tower. Something shiny falls to the floor. Look at floor, types Bastian. I don't understand the word floor, says Atreyu. Look shiny, attempts Bastian. I don't understand the word shiny, chortles Atreyu merrily. Look, says Bastian, finally achieving something. Lying on the ground is Orin. Bastian punches the air with joy. He was getting somewhere. Pick up Orin, types Bastian triumphantly. I don't understand the word pick, says Atreyu absent-mindedly. Bastian sighs. Take Orin, he types, slightly more furiously now. Taken! exclaims Atreyu. Look at Orin, requests Bastian, holding his breath for the inevitable answer. You can't do that, says Atreyu, concern rising in his voice. Use Orin, types Bastian. The sound of his fingers bouncing off the rubber keys was deafening. His frustration made him wince. I don't understand the word use, exclaimed Atreyu, tears forming in his eyes. S, typed Bastian. His patience had worn thin, and it was time to get moving if the story was ever to progress. Atreyu followed the command dutifully. You are on a wide, well-trodden forest track that curves gently from south to northeast. There is a heavy, fist-sized stone here. Take stone, motions Bastian, remembering the correct vernacular like a thorn in his ribcage. Taken, said Atreyu excitedly. S, Bastian responds. 3 separate forest paths meet at this small clearing. They lead off to the northeast, north, and west. There is a gilt-covered hunting horn here. Take horn, types Bastian with a sense of progress. Taken, exclaims Atreyu once more. Blowhorn, types Bastian mistakenly. I don't understand the word urn, says Atreyu. But you understood the word blowho, thought Bastian to himself, biting his tongue. Blow horn, Bastian types out, slowly, carefully, ensuring that Atreyu understands his words. Falkor appears, shouted Atreyu, excited with the progress that was being made. Ride Falkor, types Bastian, eager to leave this forest behind him. You've got nothing to ride on, shouts Atreyu, looking at him, confounded. Climb, types Bastian, frustrated. Each jab of the keyboard pains him. He winces at the response. There's nothing to climb, cries Atreyu, his arms outstretched, his face confused and contorted. Talk to Falkor, tries Bastian, helplessly. I don't understand the word talk, says Atreyu, as he's talking to you, with words. Punch Falkor, says Bastian, completely out of options. His only lasting hope is that Atreyu will somehow enrage Falkor and perhaps be murdered by the giant friendly dragon. It's not very effective, says Atreyu, weakly slapping at the dragon's foot. Cry, says Bastian, at this point simply typing out his own actions, determined to work a response from Atreyu that doesn't sadden him further. There is no verb in that sentence, states Atreyu matter-of-factly. Atreyu, the boy who doesn't understand the word talk, but knows when there are no verbs in a sentence, looks at Bastian with widened eyes. Fuck off, types Bastian, enraged. I don't understand the word fuck, shrugs Atreyu, though he can definitely feel malice behind the word. He was beginning to wonder if he had somehow upset Bastian, but he couldn't fathom why. Bastian pulled himself together. He took a long, deep breath and tried once more. Take Falkor, typed Bastian, crossing his fingers in the process. Falkor is with you, says Atreyu, smiling. Bastian closes his eyes, pleading at this point. He types, help. I don't understand the word help, grins Atreyu, oblivious to the boy's needs. Quit, types Bastian. Are you sure? Asks Atreyu. Yes, says Bastian. Game over, responds Atreyu meekly. The screen fades to black, and Bastian switches off the computer. And so it came to be that the encroaching darkness enveloped the entirety of Fantasia. Rockbiter, Teeny Weeny, Nighthawk, Falkor, all of them would succumb to the deep, dark nothing. Bastian sat alone with his ZX Spectrum as the rain pattered against the window. A candle flame sat nearby, fluttered in the soft breeze that ran through the school's attic. A pang of guilt struck him as he thought of those who had died at his hands. But then he remembered Atreyu. He remembered Atreyu, and he smiled as he imagined the great, black nothingness swallowing him whole, leaving nothing.
turn around. Look at what you see in her face. The color of your dream.